earliest that I can remember, Ava was always the athlete. She started out as a golfer when she was super young. She moved into lacrosse. She played basketball. She did basically every single sport. And so she's always been more of a competitive person. Like, I remember one day during CYO basketball, we were at practice together. We were on different teams and we got a concussion because we ran into each other. Like, she's just naturally competitive.
The Ironman race consists of a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike, and then a full marathon, all in one day. Last summer, I was home and didn't have much going on, and I saw this YouTube video titled Couch to Half Marathon of a girl who trained for a half marathon using a plan that looked very doable to me, like something I could actually follow and do. So I sent it to Coco and was like, I'm gonna try this. And I followed the plan for 14 weeks and was able to run my first half marathon.
And she did all the training she could to it. She really put in a lot of work. She was like fueling well, like nutrition was top tier, and she got into a great shape to run. And then she went to Richmond, she did her half marathon, and she did awesome. Like, she really performed, and that was great. But then once she finished the half, she was like, I'm gonna train for a half Ironman. She always is saying how the brain is so powerful, and it really is. It's like, no one would think, oh, I couldn't go work out 70.3 miles. Like, no. But if I tell myself I'm gonna train hard, I'm gonna do this, then I can.
Somewhere during that process, something in me changed. For the first time, I started to actually enjoy running and started to truly believe that I could run 13.1 miles if I just followed this plan. And that change wasn't because I suddenly became fast or a great runner. It was because I kept showing up even on the days I didn't want to run, even when I didn't feel like it, which ultimately resulted in me being able to do something I never thought possible, like run 13.1 miles. After my half marathon, I wanted more out of myself. Not in a way that came from pressure or comparison, but because I was able to do something that made me feel strong and made me want to keep challenging myself. And then I decided to train for a half Ironman, which I completed in April, and then I did another in June. And that same feeling came after my half Ironmans. That feeling of knowing I could do more if I just kept being consistent and showing up for myself. Through all of that, over the last 8 to 9 months, through training for those races, I realized I've also been training my mind. One of the main shifts is that I stopped saying, "That's too hard for me," and started saying, "I can do that if I commit and be patient." And this one shift has changed everything for me. It has changed the way I approach these goals I have athletically, but also the way I go about other things in life. Because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. Training for an Ironman is physically exhausting. There are days I sit on the bike trainer for hours, or days where I swim and I feel like I'm barely moving, or nights where I go to bed and it's still light out. But these are all things that I get to do, things that come with this sport and this process, and what I know will make me better and prepare me. And the physical exhaustion is definitely hard on my body, but honestly, for me, one of the hardest parts has been mental. I've struggled with disordered eating and body image over the last few years, and while I've made progress, some of the unhealthy habits, like food restriction or checking my weight, still come up when I don't feel good about myself. And that truth has been especially difficult to navigate while training, because to train and perform at such a physically demanding level, fueling enough is crucial for success, but more importantly, my health.
Wave to me. Hi. Here comes Ava. I want to get the picture of the two of you. Stop.
For Ava, this race is different than any race that she's previously done. So I feel like she started before she even had the idea of an Ironman. She initially started her running and eating well because she wanted to get into a better place with her body and her self-image. I think it's really her proving to herself that you can really transform your life if you want to, Through this training, she's getting back to a position where she is the best version of herself. She's always had something, set her mind to it, and then figured out how to get there. And I think her competing in this Ironman and finishing it, regardless of the time, I think it's going to be a big message to her, being this is where you wanted to be when you were at your lowest point.
Thinking back, during my training for my half marathon and even my half Ironmans, I kind of got away with underfueling. But a full Ironman is a completely different level of physical demand. So before I even started this prep and this process, I knew I had to make a change if I wanted to succeed. I had to prioritize proper fueling. I had to let go of the idea that my body needed to look a certain way. I promised myself that I would give everything I had into this prep and into this goal, and most importantly, to staying healthy. And to me, that meant eating more than I was comfortable with at times. That meant choosing performance over appearance. That meant fueling like an athlete, even on the days when my mind didn't want to, even on the days when my body image felt off, or when I found myself comparing how I look now to how I looked when I was underfueled. I realized that I'm finally training for something that has nothing to do with losing weight or appearance. I'm training for an Ironman. And this training and this racing, it makes me feel alive. It makes me feel proud of myself. Not for how I look, but for what I am capable of when I show up with a healthy, fueled body. My friends or people I meet at the pool or gym often ask why I'm doing this. And they usually ask that after I tell them what an Ironman is. And my usual answer is something along the lines of, well, because I love training, like it's fun and it keeps me busy, and I have the goal of becoming an Ironman. But I also ask myself this why question sometimes. Usually it's in the middle of training, kind of in a joking way, when a session is hard and it's like, Ava, why are you doing this to yourself? But every now and then, the question of why sticks. And when I actually let myself think about it, I realize the answer goes beyond just wanting to be an Ironman. Through working on this project, I continuously ask myself to think about the why behind wanting to race Ironman Chattanooga. And when it comes down to it, I think I just love it. I love to wake up and train. I love that good pain. And I love feeling accomplished after every session, even if it didn't go as planned. I'm doing this because I want to get better. I tell people when they ask me, how do you stay so persistent? I tell them that for me, it's like Christmas Eve every night. I get to go to bed excited to wake up because the present is the training. This is the first time where I found something like that, and I've become truly obsessed. I crave it. It gives me this feeling of wanting more, chasing more, and getting more. Alright, so this morning, NVDM had like a shakeout swim, and so I came, and we started around 9. It was me and Parker mainly. Natasha was there too, she's the head of NVDM. And so I went like 20 minutes, and it was like 1,000 yards. It wasn't that bad. It was kind of warm, and there was current one way and one way back, so that was good. But my stroke felt smooth, and that was good. And usually I have panic attacks when I get in the water, but I didn't today, so that's good. I think one of the biggest things this process has taught me is that real growth happens through discomfort. All the early mornings, the lonely sessions, the hard choices around food, they've shaped me into who I am today and who I am becoming. And the discipline I've built through those moments is what I'm going to carry with me into my training, into race day, and into life. Because pushing through when it's hard, when no one's watching, that's where real growth happens.
The Tennessee River is your first test. Steady, powerful, relentless. As you cut through its waters, you move with purpose, carried forward by all the miles that have led you here. The bike course will call on your strength, where rolling miles fuel the fire within. And the run, the final test, where every step pushes you closer to glory, where true endurance is revealed. At the end lies the red carpet and the roar of a city that has just witnessed greatness.
after the first like 5 minutes, I calmed down and like get into a groove. So the swim was like very, very good. It was pretty. It was downriver, which like made me faster than I like would have been. Obviously, there was no current, but the swim usually for me is the part where it's like I'm so happy to be here. I look up and I'm like, this is so like awesome. Like this is, wow, I'm really doing this. Then I obviously go on bike, and the bike course, just to like preface it, it was around like 4,800 feet of elevation, which is rolling hills, which is like kind of hilly. The bike itself was very enjoyable because of like the mountains that were on the highway, and you and Coco passed me a few times, and that was very like encouraging. And like long story short, on the bike I kind of didn't fuel enough. And just to put it into perspective, I think I prepared 550 grams of carbs and like 6,000 milligrams of sodium, and I think I took in like half of that, which is like nothing for like for 6.5 hours. That is not good. And it was one of the things where I would go up a hill and just chug water and then not want anything else. In my opinion, having a good bike is you bike to set yourself up for the run. And in this case, yes, my bike, speed-wise and comparing to other people, yes, it was a good bike, but I didn't set myself up for the run. So yeah, I got off the bike and I went into transition and got all my stuff together. And ran out and started, and after the first point, like 7 miles, I started walking. I was like, this is gonna be a really long marathon. And I think there was like a hill that I hit, and there was like sun beaming down on me, and I was like, damn, I'm really feeling this in my stomach. It was just all water, and that's not what you want before you're gonna run a marathon. It's obviously very, I mean, to me it's disappointing because I didn't train to walk the marathon. I didn't train to like get off the bike just to start walking after 0.7 miles because I started going up a hill and felt like I was gonna like get sick because of all the water. Like that wasn't the plan. That's not what I wanted. But like it's 140 miles. Like everything isn't gonna go perfectly, and that's how it goes. Probably like halfway through the run, so like 13 miles through the run, it started getting dark out, which is when I started getting like, damn, like this really like sucks. Like I was walking most of it, running some like when I could, like on the downhills. In that moment, I've kind of been like reflecting on what I was thinking about during that moment and during the last like half of the marathon, and I was like, there wasn't like a thought of quitting or stopping in my head. It's like at the end of the day, like the goal was to become an Ironman, to finish, and I knew I was gonna do that. And going into the whole race versus like the training part of this whole thing, it's like I feel like there are two different mindsets I have about just training and then other parts that like come with this for me. And so one of those mindsets is me, like I truly wanted this so badly, and I really just wanted to do my best. And that mindset also stuck with me during all of my training. Like when training is super hard, I think about me like just wanting it, whatever it is, and on that day it was finishing. Like that was the it. Through training I wanted, like there was just like a massive want. The training that goes into it and like the training that I do for it, like the race is kind of like the celebration of all of the training you've put into it. And just because I didn't get the time that I wanted, just because I thought I could have given more or done stuff differently, like doesn't mean that like I wasn't like ready. It doesn't mean that I like all the work I did like went to waste. Like a time doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that I'm not like capable enough to do X, Y, and Z. I didn't get to this point because I'm special. It's because I've been consistent. I've shown up over and over, even when I didn't feel like it. Even when I was mentally struggling. And through this, I've trained my mind to keep going, to believe I am capable, to not give up on a hard day. Because the truth is, we are all so much more capable than we think. And if you take care of your body and train your mind to keep showing up regardless, you can do things you never imagined possible.